Hey, caregiver. Hey, caregiver. This is the place where faith meets caregiving. Caregivers find strength to keep going, keep pushing, keep loving, and keep caring.
Hey, caregivers and everybody else out there in Facebook and YouTube land, wherever it is you are looking from. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight to the My Favorite Girl Caregivers Corner podcast. This is a space that's created to strengthen, empower, inspire, and uplift caregivers through real, personal, and impactful conversations. I am your host, Priscilla Jean Louis, and as always, I am grateful to have you tuning in with us on tonight. And so, even as you are coming in, go ahead and let us know where it is you are listening from. And I'm going to take a moment right now, and I want you to do the same thing. I'm going to take a moment and share this on my platforms, on my personal page, as well as the others. So take some time yourself and go ahead and do the same thing for me. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, I want to also invite you to go ahead, like, share, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and like the page, follow the page, and also go ahead and share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it with other caregivers that you know would benefit from this conversation on tonight. I am very excited about this conversation that we're going to have tonight. And I also want to remind you that you can also listen to the podcast, this one, once we're off, as well as other podcasts. You can listen to them on our digital platforms. And so you can listen to them on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and of course at the website at www.priscillajjohnlouis. So go ahead, take the time and share it, subscribe, and let's get some more followers on there, number one, and just, people that can benefit from it. We know that this conversation on the night is going to be beneficial. I know that you're going to leave empowered, you're going to leave inspired, and you're going to leave knowing that as caregivers, you are not alone in this. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into the conversation. Tonight's conversation is one that I know that so many mothers, caregivers, and families will not only hear, but they're going to deeply feel this conversation. We're going to be talking about the emotional realities of raising children with special needs. For those of you that are on watching, you see our topic for tonight is a caregiver's cry, the reality of raising children with special needs. And I think that this one is a great one as well. I know previously, and those of you that have been following me for a while, you know, my journey of caring is for my mom who lives with Alzheimer's dementia. I've had several other people to come on the podcast as well who also have that same journey that they're on. And so this one is going to be a little bit different because this is actually someone who is caring for children with special needs. And I often say on the podcast that this is not just for those who are caring for loved ones with dementia. Caregivers are caregivers. Caregivers, I'm always going to say it, caregivers are superheroes. So if you're caring for somebody other than yourself, then you are a caregiver. And, this platform is for you. And so that's what we're going to deal with on tonight. These are the realities that people often don't see: the fear, the exhaustion, the silent suffering, the isolation, the survival mode, the strength. They often praise your strength as a caregiver, but rarely support it. And we're going to talk about that on tonight. And so before I bring my guest on, I want to go ahead and give her a proper introduction. I know you see her on there, but before she says something, let me introduce her to you. All right. Jocelyn Marie Small is a caregiver advocate, author, entrepreneur, and Christian R&B artist from Jersey City, New Jersey. She is the founder of A Caregiver's Cry LLC, which is a faith-based or a faith-centered platform created to support, uplift, and bring visibility to caregivers navigating the emotional realities of caring for children with special needs, aging loved ones, and family members with complex medical needs. Her caregiver journey began at just 23 years old when she became a mother and quickly found herself facing medical challenges no parent is ever truly prepared for. Both of her daughters underwent major surgeries before the age of one. Her daughter Lyric experienced swelling on the brain and required a VP shunt until the age of three, while her daughter Harmony was born with three holes in her heart and underwent open heart surgery as an infant, followed by multiple surgeries throughout her life. Those experiences reshaped Jocelyn's life, deepened her faith, and became the foundation for a message behind A Caregiver's Cry, that caregivers deserve support too. Jocelyn is also a self published author of A Caregiver's Cry, The Reality of Raising Children with Special Needs, and continues to expand the brand through journals, devotionals, affirmation products, caregiver support circles, and community initiatives across New Jersey and beyond. Her mission is rooted in advocacy, awareness, emotional healing, and reminding caregivers that strength does not mean suffering in silence. Through her platform, she encourages caregivers to embrace honesty, faith, rest, and community while navigating the highs and lows of caregiving life. Beyond advocacy and entrepreneurship, Jocelyn is also a recording artist who performs under the name Jocelyn Marie. Her music blends Christian R&B, soul, hip hop, and Jersey house influences into a sound that is both healing and empowering. Jocelyn also uses her music as another outlet for storytelling, faith, resilience, and transparency. Whether through speaking, writing, music, or mentorship, Jocelyn's goal is simple: to help people feel seen, heard, encouraged, and reminded that even in the middle of caregiving, they still matter too. Jocelyn, thank you so much for being here tonight and for trusting us with your story. Welcome to the My Favorite Girl Caregivers Corner podcast.
Thank you so much for that great introduction, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to speak with you as well as speak to all of your listeners. Just to get the word out. It's time to get the word out about caregivers because I
That's
feel like
right.
we do get ignored. It's time to get it out. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. We appreciate you for being here. And as we have those coming in, Diane Robinson says, yay. Darlene Small says, hi, hello to you. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight for this conversation. And so what we're going to do, we're just going to start at the beginning. So take us back to 23-year-old Jocelyn. What was going through your mind as a young mother facing medical realities that no parent is prepared for?
I would have to say, I share a lot of this in my book as well, but at 23, at the time I thought I was grown, but at 23, I wasn't. So at 23, becoming a mom, becoming a single mom very early in life, and having your first child, and she comes out looking exactly like you, and you're like excited, scared, but excited. And at 4 months old, I shared the story of what happened with her. And to go through that, it was scary. It was it was something that I never thought in a million years I would have to be prepared to experience. So when my daughter was 4 months old, she went unconscious. And when we were in the hospital, um, after she went unconscious, they said she had shaken baby syndrome.
Hmm.
That changed my life forever. So instead of me being able to comfort my baby, I was presented by police officers who told
Wow.
me I couldn't see my child. Now, this is my first child, never had a baby before. So that alone was triggering and shocking in itself. And I'm not going to go too much in detail into that. But that alone started my parenting journey when she was only 4 months old. So my caregiver life went from being a parent, a new mom, to now I'm a full blown caregiver with a child who has been diagnosed with shaken baby syndrome, who's had bleeding on the brain, who had a soft spot that was literally like a balloon, and I had no explanation for it and didn't know what happened or how it happened. And losing my child within 4 months. And I didn't
Wow.
get her back until 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, what came between 4 months and 2 years old was a lot of different things. We go from, of course, the legal part, fighting. The fight started on that 4 month mark. It hasn't stopped to this very day.
Oh, man.
Fighting doctors, fighting child protective services, fighting family members who wanted to know what happened, who blamed me for everything, fighting jobs that I kept losing because I was always in and out of court or in and out of hospitals to be with my daughter. But despite of where she was located, I was always there. Um, I never missed a visit. I feel like God had put a lot of people in my life that allowed me to see my daughter at times that I didn't have to. So she was like in a medical nursing facility for a
Okay.
year till her first year birthday. And during that time, they had visitation hours, but it was to the
Mhm.
point I was there every day, like clockwork, all day, because I wanted to bathe my daughter. I wanted to all the things, do all of it. I went through all her therapies with her and everything. And that place um, really helped because they were taking care of my child. They was filling in the gap for me as a mom because of the legalities with it.
Mhm.
But they allowed me because they saw the type of person I was, the type of mom I was, and even my parents, things like that. They allowed us to come and be a part of my daughter's life. Um, but it was hard because again, she had a VP shunt placed in her brain to alleviate the pressure on the brain. And anything with the brain can cause a bunch of different things, behavioral issues, mental health challenges, things like that. And that is exactly what we have gone through.
Wow.
And it was not easy. It's still not easy. Is it better? Absolutely. Is it different? Absolutely. But it still goes on. And despite going through all of that and navigating all of that, I honestly didn't have a lot of support. And as a caregiver, I didn't really have that. I thank God every day for my parents. I told them those are my rich besties because you know how you say the broke besties? No, my parents are
Rich, wait. I
the
love
rich
it.
besties. They the besties with the money. Okay. But yeah, my parents, I'm very close to my parents, and anyone who knows me knows that. Like, I don't care. I would shout it to the rooftops. My mom and my dad is like my biggest support all the way, all the time. They were in the room with me when I gave birth to my oldest. Like they are like my troopers. So they gave me that village support. But even with that, I still needed more. I
Okay.
wanted more. I needed more. I needed my friends more. I needed family more. I needed my church family more. It was more so, but at that time, a lot of things, especially in the Black community, right? What happens in your house,
Stay in the house.
stay in your
I talk
house.
about that all the time. I talk about that all the time.
Stays
And
in
that's
your
a
house.
mentality we have to get rid of. We have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that being said, growing up in the church, I went to church. I was singing in that choir, and nobody had no clue what was going on. No clue.
Wow.
And um, but even though they had no clue, I held a lot of resentment that no one asked me what was going on. No one asked me, how were you? How was this? And that again comes with maturity and realizing and looking back and things like that, that I'm like, how could they ask me something that they didn't know? Because we kept it on
Yeah.
the hush. We kept it in the hush. I mean, we kept it on the hush that I didn't have my daughter. People asked where she was. I used to lie and say she was with her father, knowing she wasn't. Knowing she wasn't. So it was hard. But as a caregiver, I still had to navigate it. I went through the highs, the lows. At one point, I wanted to kill myself. I even tried because that's how low I got. And I promised myself I would never get that low again.
Yeah.
Never get that low again, which is what prompted me to start a caregiver's crowd. One of the many reasons. So I have a child who has mental health challenges, who's had mental health challenges, have been kicked out of school since daycare. We started as early as 3 years old. She was getting medical psychiatric treatments.
Mm.
And that journey in itself is a lot. So for any other parent or caregiver of a child or even an adult that has struggles with mental health, it comes with a lot. And um, I think it's really important to um, that people are fully aware of what really comes along with that, because it's not just what you see with the naked eye. Oh, you
Yeah.
see a kid acting out. You see, like, okay, they acting out, or you might see a kid that's nonverbal, maybe autistic or something like that. Now, that's not my personal ministry, but I've
Yeah.
seen it. I've seen it. I've been in hospitals. Shout out to CHOP, which is Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. They were amazing because they had people there to help caregivers too. Like, it wasn't just to support the child getting the medical treatment. It was also there for us as parents, as people
Okay.
taking care of kids, because it's a lot. It takes such a traumatic toll on you, and it's a certain level of exhaustion that no sleep could
That
ever
comes
cure.
along with it. Yeah. And to have those who are, I think that's the one thing that I also love about the hospice. My mom is actually on full hospice now, but that's the
Oh,
one thing that I
wow.
also love about them as well, because it's not just the patient or the person that's on that they check in on, but they want to make sure that as a caregiver, you're okay as well. And so,
Mhm.
that right there is very important, because sometimes, just like you say, sometimes it is, and I appreciate and value even what you said, because that is a level of maturity to understand, because sometimes the reality is you just want people to ask you, like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you doing? These are people that you see all the time. Yeah, they know that you have a caregiving situation, but how are you doing? And you said you had resentment because these are people that I worship with all the time. They see me, they know I had a kid, they know something is going on, but nobody takes the time to say, how are you doing?
Mhm.
How's it going with you? And to be in a situation where you have all of that going on and nobody knows, you're able to keep it on the hush hush. That alone, that doesn't really happen. But you're right. What goes on in the house stays in the house. That's a mentality that we've had for far too long. And I'm just gonna assume that Diane Robinson, that's one of your friends, because she
She's yeah,
all
she was
right.
one of my she was one of my church aunties.
I love
Hi,
it. Well, hey,
Di.
church auntie, thank you so much for being on. She said we didn't want to get in your business. And a lot of times that's what it is. People, now there are some people that invite themselves in your business, but then there are other people who are just like, we didn't want to get into it. You didn't mention it, you didn't say anything. So until you say something, it's yours.
Right.
But
Right.
even, moving on from there, um, young motherhood by itself, and you say it comes with its own challenges. When you're 23, you're having a child, thank God your parents were there, they were supportive. There's so many people that's not their same situation, but
Right.
with those challenges, you're having a baby, not expecting that once I have this baby, here's all these serious complications that are coming along with it. And emotionally, I'm sure that changed everything for you. So what type of emotional exhaustion, what did that look like for you, not raising, because you have the one, and then how far apart are your children?
They're 6 years apart.
6
So
years apart.
they're
So
6
you
years
have one, and the one has these, medical issues. 6 years later, you have another baby, and your second baby has special needs as well. So,
correct.
how emotionally, what is that like? What does that look like emotionally?
You go through a lot of different things. So one of the things when I had my oldest, it was, you know, that was very traumatic and something unexpected. And there was no warning signs. But then I was so nervous to have another child because of the trauma it put me through. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Fighting, getting her back, losing jobs, all the things. Um, Going through the ups and downs with her getting kicked out of school every 5 minutes. It was a lot. So I was afraid to have another child. But here I go, falling in love and whatnot and whatsoever. And I get pregnant again. And my little one, because of what I experienced with my first, I was in that hospital like, don't give me this baby unless y'all check this baby out. I mean, everything. Check everything before we go home because I was so scared that I was going to bring her home and something was wrong
Have a repeat. Yeah.
and have a repeat. That's that PTSD.
Yeah.
But funny enough, not funny, but funny enough, she did not get to go home with me because the day we were supposed to go home, she started rapidly breathing. She would not latch. I couldn't breastfeed her. She would not latch. And she was just breathing so fast. And they took her and checked her and they found she had some holes in her heart.
Mm.
So they transported her from the hospital here in New Jersey to CHOP in Philadelphia because the heart specialist said that the best in the country is based out of there. And hey, they say they was the best. We out. Let's go. I had no time to close up, fill up, anything. I was literally left the hospital within 2 days of having a baby, and I was on the road back and forth between New Jersey and Philadelphia, 2-hour rides each way,
Wow.
going between both my kids. I had my older child, who was still young. She was only 6 years old,
Thanks. Yeah.
still young, and then I had a baby who needed me as well. So I literally, and I'm open from having a baby. I'm literally in the car driving back and forth to be present for both of my kids, which
And
was
you did
really,
this
really,
every
really
day.
hard. I did it every day. And my youngest was in a hospital for a long time. So what started to uncover, she didn't get heart surgery right away. Um, Things started to come up. They had her in a room. No one could come in a room. They had her in a bubble. And they were diagnosing her with a genetic disease. So I had to get tested. Her father had to get tested to see if we had this genetic disorder that they thought that my youngest daughter had. And that the disorder is called 22q deletion disorder. It's very rare. It's a genetic disorder. And what it is that you're missing your 22nd chromosome. But it took many days and many different testings in order for them to find out that's what she had. And one of the things that come with 22q, because it can look different for each child that has it, but one of the things is the holes in the heart.
Okay.
The other things that come with it is learning disabilities, small statures, um, speech delays. Um, it comes with quite a few things. It's like a menu of things. And I thank God every day because CHOP is the number one in the country for 22q. They have a whole facility just for 22q. And I'm like, here we are coming for heart surgery, and God put us in the best position in the best place to be for the disorder that's going to cover everything she has going on. But again, my youngest challenges, I like to call them, not disabilities, my youngest
Yeah.
challenges were more visible. So everyone saw it. She had a feeding tube because she never latched. So she had a feeding tube visibly through her nose for a long time before it was actually surgically placed into her body. That little feeding tube get pulled out, she would get aspirations. She can choke. It was a lot of things, but it was physical and medical. While my
Okay.
oldest was more psychiatric and
Gotcha.
mental. Because once we got past the brain bleed when she was a baby, she didn't have much medical after. Everything
Okay.
else was more psychiatric and mental.
Okay.
Smart as a whip, great grades, all of that. It was that piece. But then I get another kid who didn't have that piece, but she has everything. She has the medical piece. I'm walking around with a car seat and in a bag with milk and formula and it was a lot.
And you're having to learn all of this along the way. You
Along
know,
the way. I said I'm a nurse
23.
now too. Put
I'm
it on
sure
my
you are.
resume.
I'm sure you are.
Put that on
You're
there
having
too.
to, and doing that, having to learn all that comes along with this, take care of not one, but two, with two different, two ends, different opposite ends of the spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
while all at the same time trying to keep yourself together.
Mm-hmm.
So, even with that, I'm like, there's a pressure. I said this earlier, there's a pressure that comes with remaining strong or being strong. Sometimes when life gets heavy for us, and I mean, you're doing it, you're making it happen, because as mothers, that's what we often do. As caregivers, that's what we often do, is we're gonna make it happen. But you know that strength that's there, caregivers are often expected to be strong while suffering in silence. What does suffering in silence, because you're doing it, you're making
Mm-hmm.
it happen, but what did that suffering in silence look like for you? Because you mentioned that even in your bio, your goal, a part of your mission, is to help caregivers not have to suffer in silence. And in order for you to help that, it had to be something that you yourself were dealing with, where you say, you know what, I've been here, I'm doing this, now I'm going to help other people. So what did that silence suffering look like for you?
Suffering in silence is those days. For me personally, is when I found myself in a lot of depression, and depression can look so many different ways.
Yeah.
And depression for me, there was times where depression looked like overeating. Like I was just gaining weight like crazy, just overeating because that was my stress response, like to eat. Or I will over pack my schedule. Like I don't got enough to do. And that's what it would look like for me too. That was me suffering. That's a
Keeping yourself
cry.
busy. Yeah, keeping
Yeah,
yourself
keep so
busy.
I don't have to feel. So I don't
Yeah.
have to feel. And then also, um, one of my friends used to always tell me, I'm a captain saver because I always want to help everybody. I want to help everybody, but knowing I need to sit back and help myself sometimes.
Yeah.
So I had to get to a point, like I'm 40 years old now, and I'm freshly 40. So I'm not gonna act like, I ain't 40 because I just turned 40 in November. So I'm not that fresh 40. But coming into, I would say into my late 30s and coming into 40, I'm becoming more intentional with not allowing the things that the mindset of I have to deal with this alone. Because I always felt as if I had to deal with a lot of things alone because no one understood. No one understood how I felt. So I had to take different routes. So if there's a friend I talk to and if they just say something like just off the wall and I'm like, whoa, that was very insensitive, or even a family member, if it's very insensitive, I don't take offense anymore. I just know that's not the safe space for me to express my suffering. So I'm an advocate for therapy if you can do it. If you can
Jesus and
call
therapy. I believe in it.
therapy saved my life because therapy gave me a safe space to navigate the emotions that come along with being Jocelyn. Jocelyn is very multi-layered, and being able to have the mind frame and the strength, like you talk about, because I hear that all the time. Jocelyn, you're strong, so no one checks on me because you got it. I make it look good. Trust me, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'll make sure these bundles is popping and my lips gloss is good, and I'm gonna make it look like you do what it do. I am. I really am. But when
And I
I'm
don't
in,
even think that, I'm sorry, I don't even
yeah,
think it's intentional. I don't want to say being strong, but sometimes I don't think it's just a part of who you are, right? I say the same thing. Sometimes you can make it look so well that people really do think, well, she good.
yeah,
Why do I have to, or they don't feel like they got to check in because, you're good. But,
hmm,
I think over the last couple years, especially as mental health has been at the forefront more these past few years than any time before, people have been saying, and I believe it to be true, check on your strong friends. Those friends that you think are the strongest, check on them, because just because you smile, just because things look, it doesn't always mean that. It just doesn't. Sometimes you're strong because you don't have another choice. You have no other choice but to be strong.
yeah, and outlets, right? You got to
Yeah.
find, because when you're a caregiver, you get so wrapped up into who you're caring for. For me,
Yeah.
that's what it was. I was so wrapped into my girls. Like I even changed career paths. So I went into working in education just so I can have the type of schedule to be able to handle my kids. And then I went even better. Once that pandemic hit, oh yeah, I could work from home. That's it. That was all she wrote. I ain't been in nobody office since. And I make those decisions so I can be home when my kids get off the school bus. So I can get them ready for school and not have the headache of commuting for myself that gets me frazzled anyway, that I can't perform the way I need to perform. And I can still make their doctor's appointments and things like that. So I had to get really creative in ways to balance being a caregiver and still not losing myself, because I lost myself for years. Years. I didn't even know who I was looking at in the mirror anymore. I didn't like who I looked in the mirror anymore because I didn't recognize me, because all I
Yeah.
saw was all the things I was carrying: the doctor's appointments, the psychiatric appointments, the evaluations, my daughter's behavior, or being up all night with one daughter while the other daughter is about to have a seizure. And this one, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot. And there's many times I truly thank God. And I say that all the time because I'm grateful to know him and to have a relationship with him,
Yeah.
that he keeps me seriously. Like that is,
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. He keeps me because I feel as if I didn't know God the way that I do, if I didn't take the time to build the relationship that I have with him, and it's still growing, it's always room
Every
for
day.
improvement, always room. But if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have gotten as far as I have. I wouldn't have, and I've been faced with many things that could have killed me, many things that could have killed my children, but it didn't. And I truly believe that having faith, having faith is what allows me to understand that, yeah, I'm suffering at times, or I'm crying, having that caregiver's cry, but understanding that I can get through it because
Yeah.
of the strength that I do have. And it is not just the physical strength that I have, or the mental strength, or the organizational strength, because I'm organized as crap. That gets me far. Knowing I'm gonna pat myself when I'm organized. You can, if God forbid I pass them all, I'm telling you, anybody can
Everything's
log
in
in
place.
and everything is in place, honey. Everything. Um, but it's just, keeping my faith at the center of it all, even in those
Yeah.
low moments and them low times, and when I don't have anybody. But having those moments when I get a girlfriend that say, what you doing? I'm about to come over there, which doesn't happen often. But then when it does, and they want to just come over, and all we doing is chit chatting and chewing in the living room,
Makes a difference.
it made my whole week, and they don't even realize it, how
Yeah.
it makes my whole week. Because when you're invested in working, in school, trying to run businesses, like, Jocelyn, what you doing? Why are you trying to run businesses? You got too much on your plate. But that's me. That fulfills me. It's not work to me.
Yeah.
Running businesses and writing music and singing music, that's all just a part of who I've always been.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to connect that and not get so lost in being a caregiver that I don't still have to, because I need to tap into those areas of what makes me me, so I can be strong for my girls, so I
And that's what
can
I was,
be able to do
yeah.
what I need to do. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was about to say, because those are the things that help to bring you strength, right? Those are
Right.
the places that help to heal you even in these moments. I know, like for me, this podcast is more life for me than
Yes.
anything else. Because like you said, I mean, when somebody it's just the thought, right? That somebody actually thinks about and is concerned about you, that they show up. And that is important. Tiffany made a comment on here saying, looking in the mirror and only seeing what you are carrying. That's deep. And it is. When you look at yourself and all you see is what you're doing for your children or the ones that you're caring for, that's something. And again, Diane says, powerful, sis. But yeah, in a nutshell, that is what it is. I mean, having to find those places and those spaces, and you're doing what you're doing. You're doing it well. You're doing it well, but you're able to do all of that and bring in what you need to bring in so that you can be home. You can do what you need to do for your kids. So, I mean, I think, and I was working from home prior to COVID, but I always say, if I'd have no intention on going back in the office. I like working from home. When I'm not traveling, this is where I am, and I love it. But things like what you're doing with caregivers crying, we're gonna get to that part. I'm gonna, let me move on so we can get to the main part and talk about that. So many impactful movements and ministries are born from lived experience and pain, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe that. I'm a firm believer that, either for me anyway, when it came to caregiving and what I chose to do with it, I'm like, either you're gonna sink or you're gonna swim in this. You can get to a place where I'm not a woe is me person. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do? My thing is always, what can I do to help other people? Because I believe that the places that God allows us to be in, the things in, where we are in life, it is literally something that he can utilize if we allow him to. There's nothing that we go through that he can't use. And so, how do I take where I am and not just allow it to be a place for me, but how can I use this to help strengthen and encourage someone else? And a lot of times, what you'll find is those experiences, and oftentimes that pain, it really does turn into ministry, where you're
Mm-hmm.
able to help impact somebody else's life. And that's exactly what I've tried to do, and I try to do even with the platform that I have, is to, for me, when it came down to my favorite girl in Alzheimer's, that is exactly what happened. God spoke to me and said, make ministry out of the moments, because
Yes.
when you have someone with dementia, and I often say, this is not, I don't think it's no caregiving situation is greater than the other,
Mhm.
but dementia comes with a whole lot.
I can only
And
imagine.
it was at a point where I had actually gotten a little upset with one of my siblings just because of the lack thereof of what I thought at that moment, and sitting in the chair frustrated because I'm like, this is just crazy. This is not fair. So on and so forth. And literally, God spoke and said, make ministry out of the moment. And I'm like, okay. And so that's what happened when we look at where we are and we decide, how can God use where I am? Because ultimately, that's what he wants to do anyway. How can he use you where you are in this situation, as hard as it may be, as difficult as it may seem? How can God use this as a tool to be able to draw people closer to him? And
Mhm.
so, with that, even with yourself, at what point did you realize that your pain and just your caregiving, you doing what you do for your daughters, when did you realize that that carried purpose for you to birth out all that you birthed out of it?
I would have to say it started about 10 years ago. Now, Caregivers Cry is really new, but God spoke to me 10 years ago. And I heard him clear, but I wasn't 100% clear on what that looked like, what that was. So I started writing my book that many years ago. And I always would stop and go and stop and go. I've always had passion projects, I like to call them. Um, I would I did podcasts. I had a podcast. Me and my cousin had a podcast in the pandemic. After that, I did a podcast by myself, and then I stopped when my grandmother passed away. But I've always been someone who knew had a voice. I knew I had a voice, and beyond my singing voice, because I've been singing my whole life. But beyond that, I knew I had a voice. I knew I had a desire to help people. But I didn't feel that I was ready to
Okay.
lead, I guess you can say, to lead. I didn't, even though God told me 10 years ago that I'm in a position to lead, I can lead folks to Him. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know what that looked like. And it came to me maybe in the past 2 years where it was like, use your voice. So what does use my voice mean? Does that mean I need to be talking up a wazoo? Because I could talk now. I'll talk. I'll shout. I'll shout to the skies. Because I've been fighting. I fight the good fight for my kids so much, and I fight for myself so much that I'm like, okay, I can fight the good fight. Is that the way God wants me to use my voice? Oh, wait a minute. Now you're telling me I need to sing again, like really sing. I've been singing my whole life, but I mean really putting myself at the forefront, writing my own music, putting all the things that I went through and that he brought me through within music, but in a way that speaks to me and people like me. And I'm not just talking about the black girl me or the millennial me or the female me. I'm talking about people that are like me outside of the cosmetic. So that was what I was navigating. So I would go, I might go in my book, put a paragraph or two in there. Like, oh my gosh, that's too personal. Oh my gosh, somebody's gonna say something. And then let me go back and rewrite it. Let me go back and rewrite it again. I can't even tell you how many times I rewrote my book. Now I'm at a point where I'm already writing 2 books right now
Okay.
on 2 different subjects. When they gonna come out, I don't know. You gotta stay tuned. You gotta follow me. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming soon. And I have all of these ideas of how can I support other caregivers because I feel like God doesn't put you through things for no reason. I
That's
feel
right.
like he put me in a position that I can speak to other parents. I can speak to other caregivers, the grandparents that's taking care of their grandkids that have special needs, that have this, and navigate resources. I have people who've contacted me like, my child is this, and I don't know how to navigate SSI, or what services are here for this. And then it gets to a point where I'm like, oh, did you know you can do this? And oh, here, contact this person. Or, oh, wait, your child having GI issues? I know a great doctor. Let me give you the doctor's information. That's what it started becoming. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm becoming a resource now. People calling me like, oh, yeah, Jocelyn dealt with some stuff, even though they don't know the full story. But people are coming to me like, what do you know about this? Or how do you do that? Or where did you go for this? And I'm like, okay, so all right, God, I hear you. So I need to be a voice in that capacity. So I said, let me start with the book. And let me start with creating tools that helped me. So I went from the book, and then I wrote a prompt-led journal. Granted, it's a lot of journals out in the market. What makes my journal so special is because it's for caregivers. And I took it from a place of, I went into my old journals, and I love jotting down some scriptures. Now, I may not tell you what, cannot tell you every scripture now. I'm going to be real. Been to church my whole life. I can't throw them out at you. I cannot. But you best to believe I got it written down somewhere. And I take those things, and that's what I'm in the process of creating different tools so it can help other caregivers. Because the main thing I feel is that unseen part. Like, you as a caregiver, you want to feel like you're not going through this by yourself, because it's heavy, it's hard. It can get lonely. It can become isolating.
Yeah.
And that's where Caregivers Cry came from. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be the one. I'm going to be the one to tell my business. I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna tell it yourself. So if I tell it, I don't have to worry about you getting the story wrong.
Getting the story all wrong, because that happens
and guess
too.
What? What's different about yours is the fact that God gave it to you. When I go down the bread aisle, I'm looking for a specific bread that my mom eats, because I don't eat a whole lot of bread. But there's a whole bunch of bread on that aisle made by a whole, different companies, different people, so yours is specific to the people that God have for you to reach. That's what the difference is. And so, there may be a whole lot of journals out there, but there's only one that belongs to you, and the people that it's for, that's who it's for. That's what that's about. And so, and I think that is the thing, right? We use what he's given us. Same thing here. I get people that call me all the time. And so that's what this is about, being able to be that resource, because there are some things that people just don't know. Right. And if we have gained the knowledge and we have the information, why not share it? There's things that people need. That's why, when I'm bringing on different organizations right here, I'm like, the resources that we have here are absolutely amazing. But there's so many people that have no idea that they even exist. Mm-hmm. And so this platform is one of the ways that I intend to help other people know. I put the same information out on my website. I get done with the podcast. I put the information because I want people to know this is another resource. Yes, there are certain people that are assigned for me to reach, but right. And there's so many. That's my whole thing on all the time. I'm like, listen, this is a big world that we live in. It's mm-hmm. pretty huge, and there's enough room and enough space for everybody to do exactly what God has given them to do, and not have to be intimidated or jealous or whatever of anybody else. There's enough room for everybody to do what they do. So I don't mind sharing what the next person is doing, because at the end of the day, we all, the goal is the same, to reach people so that people can become better, so they can have the tools that they need to be successful on this journey that they're on.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah. In your bio, you stated that the experiences with your daughters, they reshaped your life, deepened your faith, and became the foundation for a caregiver's cry. All of that became the foundation, and you've already shared a lot of what that was like. For those mothers that may be listening to this podcast, what message of hope would you give to mothers raising children with special needs? What message would you want them to receive from your story? You have your book out there. Now, that book is already out. And I want to let her tell you a little bit later where you can go and get the book. The book is called A Caregiver's Cry, The Reality of Raising Children with Special Needs. I just took her topic from her book, and we just, that's what we're talking about. But being that you've been there in that space, two, not one, but two children, two different issues, both special needs. You're not the only parent, I guarantee you, that is in that situation. And so from your story, when they read your book and when they go to your website, they hear what you're doing, what is the message that you hope that the next mother would receive from your journey?
That they are not alone. That they are not alone. Because again, I stress that when you're dealing with so much as a caregiver and you're focused on the patient, you're focused on who you're taking care of, you can feel isolated. You can feel like no one sees you because all they see is the patient. And it's not to take away from the patient. So my book, I share my story, but I also provide a lot of hope, and I incorporate a lot of those scriptures that I talk about that helped me, that encouraged me, that supported me. Um, but I'm also real, and I can't be any other way. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like it's cookies and cream if all you do is pray and do what you got to do. It's not. It's not cookies and cream all the time. It's not. You're gonna have low days. You're gonna have bad days. But I just want other caregivers to feel as if, wow, this is another person who's just like me, who's going through things very comparable to me. And she's not giving up. She's not losing hope. She's not losing herself in it. And that's one of the things I really strive to showcase with my life. And granted, it can get tough.
Yeah.
Like I work full time. I got 2 kids that's got a lot going on, and I'm in school full time. I'm graduating
Wow.
this year, and that's a
Okay.
lot. While trying to run 3 businesses and whatnot and whatsoever. Jocelyn, sit down. I know I'm saying it for you, but yeah.
Hey, we're
Sit
doing it though. We're
down.
making it happen. That's the
Sit
thing.
down. I got to tell myself, sit down, girl. But
And
yeah,
Diane
so
says your book gives hope. And
thank
that's your auntie, church
yeah,
auntie.
yeah. I mean, my church family, when I came out with the book last year, Juneteenth of last year.
Okay.
And my church family really supported me in a great way when it came to my book. Everybody, if they read it, they kindled it, they did whatever, they read the story. And what I can say that the story did help, the book did help bring awareness to caregivers. And that's what I wanted. It came to a point where people started asking me, not how's the kids doing, but how you doing, Jocelyn? I'm good, thank you. I'm like, oh, look at that. The book's working. The book is working,
And I
So
don't think
it's
she
like,
just said that just because, just to say it, to have somebody who's, familiar with you, close to you to say the book gives hope. I'm sure you didn't pay her to come on and say that.
I
And
did
and
not.
I'm
I did
just
not.
joking.
And
And
I did not, but I appreciate that because, and I've heard it. I've heard it
yeah,
from multiple people who have read the book. People that I have never even met before has reached out to me and said how it did encourage them. It did give them hope. It did allow them to not blame God for the situation that they're in. And that's what I want. I feel like I if anything I can do, whether it's writing a book, speaking, talking on as a guest on a podcast, singing a song, performing, whatever, if whatever I do is going to bring people closer to him, to give you the support you need to navigate the cards that you've been dealt, then I'm all for it. I'm
That's
all
it.
for it.
That's it. And while we are there, let me just go ahead and say, contact Jocelyn. You want to go ahead and get the book, you can go on her website at www.acaregiverscry.com. All one word, ACAREGIVERSCRY.com. And go ahead, while you're out there, go ahead. If you're on Instagram, follow her at a_caregivers_cry. And then you can also follow her on Facebook at A Caregivers Cry. So you can reach her on any of those platforms, and you can go on there and buy the book. And that is what caregivers need. That is what this platform is all about, bringing hope, letting people know that absolutely, yes, it is not a walk in the park. It is not
Mhm.
the easiest thing to do, but it can be done. And I myself am a witness. Here we are again this week with another witness, letting you know that, yeah, you know, it can't, as a friend of mine said, it are hard, but it can be did. you know, it's hard, but it
It
can
really
be
is.
done. And we're
Mhm.
gonna get over. I'm gonna transition over real quick to another part, and I love this because it's something that I stand on wholeheartedly. But a part of your mission statement says we believe in grace over grind and in being real about the journey. What does that phrase, grace over grind, personally mean to you as a caregiver? What does it mean to have grace over grind?
Grace over grind is sometimes saying that you just can't do it, and having grace with yourself. That is, don't beat yourself up just because you can't do it. You can't show up in that moment, because when you are a caregiver, you can be very get depleted very quickly because of all the things you're navigating that other people may not understand. And say you invited such and such birthday party, wedding, whatever, and you just really don't got it in you. You don't want to be social. You don't want to talk to people. You don't want to go to choir rehearsal. All of that. That is giving yourself grace to be like, I'm putting myself first in this moment before I have to go and do the grind. It's okay to be like, no, I can't do it in this moment. No, I can't handle it in this moment, because I have to take care of me. Because if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of them.
That's right. And it's also knowing capacity in a nutshell, what your
You do.
capacity is, what you can. And because one thing for certain, and I've learned this especially over this last year, maybe two, um, so many things change. Caregiving changes the entire scope of your life.
It
And
does.
so there's some things that even if you want to do them, you just don't have the capacity to
Hmm.
do them. And
Hmm.
it comes back to that, learning how to say, you know what, I can't. Even though I might want to, I can't, and as Darlene says, sometimes you got to show yourself grace to say, I can't. And sometimes I just don't feel like it, right? That's the
Hmm.
bottom line. I'm too tired. And sometimes
Hmm.
it's not even physically tired. Sometimes you're
Mentally,
mentally
yes.
exhausted because there's so much that you have to do. Because when you're caring for, it's one thing to just care for you and you're just
Right.
handling you. But
Right.
then when you have to handle you and you have to handle somebody else's life, and and sometimes your life just seems to come after all of that, right?
Right.
And
Hmm.
so I can't imagine um two two special needs kids on, having doctor's appointments here, having going back and forth, all of that. That's a lot.
It
And
is.
then on top of everything that you have going on as well, it's a lot, and it is. It's just, hey, you know, I can't, and I like that grace over grind. Grace over grind. How has God taught you grace through your caregiver journey?
There's been times when God had to knock me on my butt, to be real, because I could be, a little hard headed. I know my, and especially growing up,
We
I've been
all
a
can be.
just a little bit, a little hard headed. But um, God had to sit me down. There was times when exhaustion got to me, where I had to go to the hospital because it just was too much. Like my body was shutting down physically. So God had to be like, "All right, I told you sit your butt down. You didn't.
So that I'm gonna
So now
sit
I'm
you down.
going. Now I'm going to sit you down. I'm going to sit you down." And that was enough for me, because I feel as if I hear God quite often now as I grow in my relationship with Him. I be hearing Him. Sometimes I'll be acting like, is that really God talking to me, or is that maybe not? God ain't through with me. Like, just, He ain't through with me yet. But I know, and sometimes it gets to a point where it's like, Jocelyn, you are exhausted. You're literally falling asleep while you're in the waiting room at the doctor's office with the kid, and you still got to get back on work, and you got a paper due tomorrow, and you're tired. That's why caregivers cry is not the way I really want it fully, because I am tired. I am a true caregiver. I'm not talking to talk to just to be talking. This is really my life. And um, when God say move, you just gotta move, because where he gonna move you? Straight like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think, and we have to get past the part of hearing God to listening and obeying what He's saying to do, because it'll save us so much time, energy, heartache, pain, all of that comes with it. And that's the part that we have to work on. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
But are you listening? Are you obeying? Is the other part.
Right.
When you say being real about the journey, what kind of truths do you believe caregivers need permission to finally say out loud? What is
Oh,
it?
just say it all. Say it all.
Don't hold back
Honestly,
on anything.
don't hold back. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Trust me. There's been times I'll be like, I'm sick of these kids. I don't want to do this no more. That's it. I don't want to do this no more. I want to be deadbeat daddy today. I don't want to do it. I don't. It's okay to say, I just don't like them right now. It's okay. There's no love lost, but it's real human. It's real human feelings. Like, this
Yeah.
is overwhelming, and I just don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with yet another breakdown over something so insignificant. I don't want to be the therapist right now. I just don't want to do it. It's okay to say that. It's okay to be like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to take them. You still got to do it. But it's okay to say it. It's
It's okay
okay
to
to
be
be
real about where you
honest
are.
and be
Yeah.
real about where you are, what feelings how you're feeling. No, I'm tired. You're tired. No, I'm sleepy. I said I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to sign up for this no more.
Yeah.
I just this is not what I signed up for. And that was one of the reasons why I don't even have any more kids. I always wanted 3, 4 kids. I was the girl with a bunch of doll babies up until college, because I just loved taking care. Like, that's just was me. But after having 2 children with challenges, different challenges, it changed me. It
Different
reshaped my
abilities.
outlook. Right. It made me be like, heck no, I barely babysit anybody kids, let alone want to go have one. Yeah, right. Lay my eggs by the river, put them, throw them in the ocean, because Jocelyn don't want to have no
No,
more.
don't throw them in the ocean. Don't throw them in the ocean.
Throw them. Make some devil eggs or something with them. Do something with them. But
I like that.
I don't. It is nothing against kids. It's nothing against any of that. But the capacity that I have has been depleted a long time ago. So I just thank God for the patience and the ability, because I know as you get out, you always hear when you get older, your patience is different anyway. But this 40 something patience a little different.
It's a little bit different than the 23-year-old patient.
Yeah, it is different. The tiredness is different. You know, I actually got a bedtime. Don't ask me to go out after a certain hour. I ain't going.
Yeah,
Um,
that does happen
it's
as we
different.
get older.
It's different. No, if ain't no seats, I'm not going because my feet hurt. No, no. So it's just I'm in a different part of my life, and I'm also, because of all the things that I have experienced, I just I'm just not there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Right now, I'm just not there, and that also comes again with that maturity part and growing and experience and all the things, and I just feel like you just got to be honest.
Yeah.
Everybody got to be honest, to be real, caregiver or not a caregiver. Be honest, be real, be
Yeah.
you
About where you are. And there's
about where you
absolutely
are.
nothing wrong with that, because the reality is you have those feelings, you have those thoughts, right? You're not going to, I mean, like you said, you still got to do it, but it doesn't mean that
Hmm.
I can't be real. I have to suppress how I feel. Sometimes you do want to scream. And guess
Hmm.
what? It is perfectly okay to scream. Put your pillow, if you're in, somewhere where people might call the people on you, just put your pillow over your mouth and just scream whatever brings relief for you in
Right.
that moment. It is very well okay to do that. And sometimes, caregivers, they do need permission to just be real about where you are. This is hard. I feel
Hmm.
like crying.
Hmm.
People don't, whatever it is you feel, it's okay to be honest about it. And that is the one thing that I do want any caregiver that's listening right now to understand, and not just understand, but embrace that. It doesn't mean that you have to remain there. It just means
Right.
that in this particular moment, this is what I'm
Right.
feeling right now. And like you said, not just caregivers, just people in general. It is okay. Sometimes we don't take the time to sit with our emotions, sit with how we feel and feel them. We just feel like, you keep brushing it off. But it's real. It's not going to go anywhere till you deal with it. Right. It
Right.
doesn't mean that you have to stay there. It just means that this is where I am right now. And I acknowledge where I am right now. And God, give me the strength, give me more grace to continue to do what it is I need to do as I'm caring for these children, or mom in my case, or whoever. And so I know that there are caregivers listening out there who may be emotionally exhausted, those that are trying to just hold themselves together. If you could sit beside another mother who is caring for children with special needs in their hardest moment, what would you say to them?
I would say I would actually ask them how they're feeling, honestly, right now. Not just what they think someone else may want to hear, but giving them that safe space to be vulnerable and to let those emotions out. Because when you're going through a lot, especially when you're caring for someone else and they're going through a lot and it's overwhelming, you still, for some reason, and I don't know if this is a thing that women are conditioned with, to always gotta say the right thing in the right moment, but being real and raw in that moment, be honest. Tell me, how are you feeling right now? And right then and there, I would ask that mom, is it okay if I pray with you? If they are not a believer, that's all right. I'm still gonna pray for you. If you don't believe, but I believe because I know what God can do. But
Hmm.
how can I support you in this moment? Is it this? I would give different questions to ask. I would ask different questions. So, how can I support you in this moment? Do you need me to call someone for you? Do you need me to go grab you a cup of coffee because we're in the hospital right now? Do you need some water? Do you need me to walk with you? Do you need me to talk to the doctor for you? Do you need what type of specialist that you may need. Did you need me to look up? Do you need me to call your insurance company to see what specialists are covered? Do you need, like, what can I do to help take something off your plate in this moment that I can? Because sometimes there's some things people can't take off your plate that only you can handle, because you know the full picture, you know the full story, you know where all the bones are. And I get that. But I feel like if I was talking to a mom in the height of a really emotional state, I would always give them the space to feel safe to be around me, to be
Yeah.
able to express to me how they're feeling, and give me the opportunity to pray with them. And after we pray, what you want to do? We riding that dawn? What we doing? Let's do it.
I love
Let's
it.
get it. Let's get it done. What you need me to do? What you need me? You need me to go curse that doctor out? Because I can. Because I know how to do it with love. I'm a professional now. I know how to do it. I know how to do it. Professional voice and all. Oh, I know how to do it. And I throw words out. Tell me the
Oh.
diagnosis real quick. I'll chat GPT it real fast. Get me some prompts. I got you. What you need. So it's and that's something, I guess the approach I would take is something that I would want someone to do for me.
Okay. Being able to just simply be there and ask,
Be
what
there.
do
And
you need? Right.
what do
Sometimes
you
it's
need?
just presence and
Right?
being able, because something as simple as making a phone call
Right.
can lift, and
Right.
it's just simply being there, being able to, and I don't think there's anything greater than prayer. I don't think you can do anything greater than, taking somebody before the throne and just presence. Sometimes sitting in a space with someone. And when I say in a space, in that situation, no, it's not you that's going through it or dealing with it, but it doesn't mean that you can't sit with them in it. Let them know that, hey, I'm here. I'm here
Right.
for you. And I'm not just in this moment, but I'm here whether you need me or not. I'm here.
Right.
Sometimes that's it. And so this has been an absolutely amazing conversation. We're going to get ready to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, I do want to touch on your music. You have a Caregiver's Cry. You have the different things that the different materials that you're also selling, but you have your music out there. And we want to talk a little bit about your music, Jocelyn Marie music. How has that music become a form of healing and release for you?
A huge release for me, because I'm able to couple the two things that I love, which is writing and singing. And my album is called Unboxed for a reason, because it's not just one genre of music. It's who makes me me. So I have I'm a Christian R&B artist, so I have some R&B songs, but it sound like R&B. Ashanti and them, it sound like it. But then when you listen to the words, you're like, oh, wait a minute. She ministering me at the same time. Yep, sure am. Sure am, because that's me. That's who I am. I always was told I sound like a 90s R&B singer when I sing. So I said, hey, let's capitalize on it. If that's going to allow people to hear and get this word and get drawn to him, then let's do it. And it's also was therapeutic for me. So I was able to, um, all the music was produced by my husband,
Okay.
and he's a professional musician and everything. So it had a couple of reasons behind my album. It was to get him to produce, because he's been playing for a long time and we not spring chickens anymore. And get him to do that. But also it was allowing to put some music to the things I was writing. And then when I was writing, it was giving me, it was really like, I'm like, wait a minute, this is really going with my book too. Let's just incorporate it all together. Why not? This is Unboxed. We doing what we want. This is free space. I'm being me. I'm doing me. I'm bringing people to Christ. I'm using my talent. I'm using my gifts. And here we are. So yeah, all my album has been out since March 1st.
Okay.
And on all
Congratulations.
streaming
Congratulations.
platforms. Thank you. It's all streaming platforms. I've been performing. I have a couple more performances coming up. So I thank God for that too. I thank God for the opportunity to even do it, because there's been times, because I've been a caregiver, that I haven't been able to tap into those gifts of mine, because my time has always been wrapped around what I have going on with my girls. Now, granted, it's still wrapped around it, but
Yeah.
I think because now I know how to manage things differently, and it's not as intense as it was. It has intense moments, but it's not intense all the time. So I thank God for that relief as well. So in those periods of relief, I do the things that make Marie happy.
That's good. So you can look at yourself as, I see more than the caregiver. I see the artist and the author, all of that. Now I want to address this real quick. Simone Wallace on YouTube. I just want to think that you're being honest right now and being real with what you're saying. She's saying, I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to, and it's okay. Stay in that right now part. But I want you to real quick, if you don't mind for me, Tiffany, not Tiffany. Tiffany is on here too. I was about to read her comment, but Jocelyn, do me a favor, because what you said you would do if you were sitting by mother is pray. And so what I want you to do right now, because we got Simone on here who's saying she's just being honest, I'm assuming. She don't want to do it right now. So real quick, say a quick prayer for her for me.
Lord God, we come in this moment right now. I ask you that you give the peace to Simone in this moment, for her to be comfortable and knowing that you got her, and it is okay to not do it right now. That you will give her the strength to do it at your most perfect timing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. More grace to you, Simone. And guess what? We are here. I'm here. I'm sure Jocelyn, she's on here. She's here. I'll give you the information again, how to get in contact with me as well. But we're here. We're caregivers, both of us, different, areas, but we're caregivers.
Right.
I'm 10 years in caring for my mom. It's been what, 15 for you, Jocelyn? 15, 16,
17, 17,
17,
17 of them
17.
things.
So
17.
combined, that's 27 years. And we have
Mhm.
some other caregivers. Tiffany's on here. I was about to read her comment earlier. She said, A plus, love to talk. Thank you, ladies. And so you have caregivers all throughout this platform that's on here. And so just know that you are not alone. Know that
Not
we
alone.
all, trust me, we all have the I don't want to do it moments right now.
Hmm. Yep.
Right now. Doesn't mean that you won't want to do it in the next moment. But as we said, it's okay to be honest. And guess what? None of us on here looking at you different because you say you don't want to do it right now. We
Nope.
all have those moments. And so thank you for being transparent enough in this moment to even post that on there. Just know that we are praying for you. I'm asking God to give you even more grace to continue to care, to do whoever you're caring for. Um, give you more grace to be able to do it. This has been awesome, absolutely awesome. I enjoyed our conversation on tonight, Joyson. I
Same
want
here.
to encourage you all again. Go follow Jocelyn. You can follow her on Facebook at A Caregiver's Cry. Follow her on Instagram at A_caregivers_cry. And then visit her website at www.acaregiverscry.com. Go out there. Her book is out. The music is also out there. She also has some other materials out there as well. And just connect with her. She is in New Jersey.
Jersey.
So if you're in that area, contact her. But reach out to her on Facebook. She does respond to Messenger, I believe. She responds to Messenger. So
Hmm.
myself as well, reach out. My favorite girl in Alzheimer's on Facebook. And you can always email me at myfavoriteGirl0904 at gmail.com. And so follow But at any time, reach out to us. That's what this is all about. So thank you again, Jocelyn, for your transparency, for your strength, for your honesty, and your willingness to just talk about your journey with us and give that strength and that extra hope. We got a witness on here with Miss Diane, who said that her book is a source of strength, a source of hope. And so if you need a little more hope on your journey, go out there, get her book, A Caregiver's Cry, The Reality of Raising Children with Special Needs. And if she, and I believe it, I mean, what she said, just be real, be honest. And so I haven't gotten the book. I'm going to get it. And I'm sure you'll find that same thing in that book. So go out there, get it, and yeah, reach out. Before we get off, I do want to remind you, I want you to do me a favor again. We did this on last week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link back on my favorite girl, Alzheimer's page, but I want you to do me a favor and take action with me. I'm going to ask this again. We have a bill that's out that's called the Alzheimer's Screening and Prevention Act. It is a co-sponsorship of short for ASAP Act. And what that is, it is an act that would enable Medicare access to blood-based early detection tests, giving millions of families fighting chances against Alzheimer's. Only thing we need you to do when I put that link out there, go out there, click on the link, contact your congressman, contact your representative, and ask them to support. This is a bipartisan act that would give the Secretary of Health and Human Services the authority to approve the Medicare coverage of the blood test screenings for dementia. And so if you would just take a moment, take about 2 minutes for you to do it. When you click on that link, it'll take you over to the page, make a quick phone call, and just give them your information. I mean, when I say information, give them, share your story. That's what advocacy is all about, being able to share your story, not anything long and drawn out, just real quick. But you'll find that on my website. And then I also want to remind you of my book that is out there, the Hey Caregiver. It's a devotional and prayer journal. You can go on my website and purchase that. And then also you can go and listen to the Hey Caregiver, the album Volume 1. It's out there on all streaming platforms, out there on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Pandora. You can go and listen to it. Also, want to remind you, if you are in the Tallahassee, Leon County area, the Alzheimer's Project has their 41st annual Alzheimer's disease and other memory disorders education and training conference for caregivers. It is absolutely free. The only thing they ask you to do is to register for it. There's some great information that's going to be going on. It's from 9 to 4, going to be located at FSU College of Medicine. It's always a great conference. I always take part in that. So if you're in this area, please register. And they also have respite care. They're going to feed you breakfast and lunch. So you'll get that. And they have respite. So you can even take your loved one with you if they're able to go. But it's always a great conference to attend. So go out there and register for that. To every caregiver listening tonight, thank you so much. Know this, you are not weak for struggling. You are not failing because you're tired, and you do not have to suffer in silence. Know that I'm here for you. Jocelyn is here for you. We're here for each other. Don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. If this episode has blessed you, encouraged you, or made you feel just a little bit alone, less alone, ask that you share it with someone else who may need it too. Don't forget to subscribe to the My Favorite Girl Caregivers Corner podcast on your favorite platform. Subscribe to it so whenever there's a new episode, you'll get a notification and you can tune in. We won't be live next week. But the week after, I believe June 4th, we will be back on live with another special guest. So thank you all again for tuning in and for listening. Until next time, keep going, keep pushing, keep loving, and by all means, keep caring. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.